and Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Michael Harmison, as Mayor of Osage Beach of Missouri, do proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd of Constitution Week. I urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Osage Beach to be affixed this 5th day of September 2024. And I see we have some ladies here. Last year I was told you had brought something. Did you want to get a picture? Is anything like you did last year?
We just kind of like to have a picture, like even just standing in front of you all. It's just that in DAR,
if you don't mind, come on up, please, to the microphone, and we can hear what you're saying. No, that's fine. You have to just turn it towards you. There you go.
I was just saying, if we could just have a picture even with you guys just standing in front of you. It's just like in DAR, they have a thing, if you don't have a picture, it never happened. Right. So we do like to just, document.
Super. Would you like to come up here and we'll gather together and take a picture if you all don't mind? All right. Alderman, come on in, please. No, stand here. Oh. Yep, everybody's just, all you do is move in.
I can take a picture for you.
I thought Bob was in charge of setting
Not
this up.
necessarily, but.
Yeah. Oh, just scoot in.
Usually we just stand in front.
I have my photography therapist.
No, Tara's standing.
All right, let's break
Nice.
this up. Chief's girl over there.
You betcha.
I gotta be by chest.
Get on that side.
I'm short.
I'm okay right here.
Come on, Richard, we don't fight.
Speak for yourself. I usually stand in the back.
1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and
Thank you.
we're very distressed about our
Yeah, we are too.
I'm a police officer with myself and like 50 years ago. It just makes these things happen, but what can we do?
Yes, well, thank you very
Give
much.
them our blessings.
We will.
Tell them that all of our girls are praying.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much for that. We're going to move on to citizens' communications. This is the time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may also be sent to the city clerk at tberreth@osagebeach.org no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting day, the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens' communications section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any item not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The Mayor and the Board of Aldermen welcome and value input and feedback from the public. At this time, is there anyone here in person who would like to address the board? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the Board of Aldermen meeting September 15th, 2024, and the bills list of September 5th, 2024? Any questions or comments? Yes.
I do. The first agenda that was sent out, the minutes say September 15th.
Okay.
It is supposed to be August 15th, but the correct minutes are in your packet.
Very
Just
good.
on the agenda, it said August 15th.
Very good. Thank you, Tara. Alderman Rucker.
You get my 2 corrections?
I sure did.
The agenda correction as well?
Yep.
Any other comments or questions? All right. Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Alderman Rucker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The approval of consent agenda. All right, we have only one item on unfinished business tonight. It's Bill 24-55, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, establishing a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. This is the second reading. City Clerk Tara Barrett, please.
I have no other comments or anything unless anybody has any questions at this time.
comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
Can you just clarify what certain municipal officials means?
You guys appoint you elected officials and anybody that makes money decisions, so it would be Gina, Devin, and Cole.
Okay, I just wasn't sure
Yep.
what it was.
Yep,
so-
that's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
This is a form that Missouri Ethics Commission puts out, and we do it every year.
Okay.
All right, if there's no more comments or questions, do I have a motion to approve the second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, roll call, please. Oh, excuse me. All those in favor?
No, it's a roll call.
Roll
Oh, it
call.
is roll call?
Second reading.
I'm sorry, roll call. Roll call, please, Tara.
Alderman Barella.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
All right. Bill 24-55 passes second reading. First item of business, this is a public hearing. It's also going to be a bill on the second item, so this is simply for the public at this time. It's rezoning case 424 by Topsider Condominiums, LLC. Do we have any comments or questions out there? Well, if we do have any, we have representatives from Topsider that can address them during the next part of the agenda. But I don't see anybody commenting at this time. So do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, public hearing is closed. I was supposed to let you talk, Carrie, but I'll let you do it now, please. Bill 24-57, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, adopting an amendment to the zoning map of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri by rezoning a parcel of land as described in rezoning case number 424. This is the first reading. City Planner Carrie Patterson, please.
Yes, Mayor Homerson, and members of the board. So the last time that we talked about Topsider property, the board was not happy with the loss of half an acre of commercial property in order to grant their additional condominium units that they want. The owners and developers took that to heart and purchased the adjacent 2.28 acres of commercial property, added it to the development, which makes this a different request than the one that was denied, which makes it legal for us to review. If nothing had changed, we could not review that for an additional year after its denial. What we have tonight is a very similar request. They are requesting that they are able to add the additional half acre to the condo property, but adding the additional 2.28 to what would be the commercial properties. So the basics of it is they are looking to get their additional 6 units for a total of 146 units. And then we have now, instead of just 2 acres, we have 4.2 acres of commercial property that we now will have regulation on what actual uses can go on that. So what you'll see is basically a completely different planned unit development than what you saw the last time. What we have this time is, and what I'll go ahead and focus on is the required uses, which in this case would be the 146 condominium units and accessory uses and structures, a minimum 60-room hotel facility and accessory uses, and a minimum 150-seat sit-down restaurant facility. It's defined within the ordinance itself. You may ask, last time we had a 72-room hotel facility and a 250-seat restaurant. The reason that I made those changes is the 72 units was something that the applicants had put in because they had some interest in it at the time. What I don't want to do is take away flexibility that they may have to put in an Embassy Suites or a Suites type hotel facility that will have larger, more expensive units, but less of them on the same type of tract. And then the 150 seat, since the time that we saw this originally back in 2020, the number of seats that make a restaurant, sit-down restaurant, more feasible has gone from 200 down to 150. And what we don't want to do is require them to do something that they can't make work in the first place. So that's why we reduced the number from 250 seats to 150 seats. So our goal is to get uses on that property that we will actually continue to make sales tax from. The other thing that you will see is other permitted uses within the C1 property and prohibited uses, which I won't read through all of those things. The uses that they can put on there, other than the required uses, would be basically anything within the commercial zone that we can continue to make sales tax on, other than what I've listed in the prohibited uses. And you can take a look at those. I'm sure you already have, but most of the things in the prohibited uses are things we do not make sales tax on once they are there. So between continuing, if they have extra property once the hotel and restaurant are done, enough to put another business on, they're able to do that. It will have to be one of the other uses that are permitted on the C1 land. They cannot start any other units or any other buildings until the hotel and the restaurant that are required are under construction. Because what I don't also want to see is them get another use, start putting that on there, and then we find, oh crap, we don't have enough room for our hotel and our restaurant now. Can we do another amendment? So the hotel and the restaurant are going to have to be underway before any other uses can be put on there. I took this to the Planning Commission with the requirements that I have below. They are sending it forward to you with a recommendation to approve with the requirements and the recommendations.
All right, thank you, Kerry.
Yes, sir.
Comments, questions from the board? Alderman Rucker.
I have a couple of them. Carrie, if you would, I've probably asked it years ago, but I forgot the answer. Explain the 90-day rule.
90-day rule is established by state statute that says that within 90 days of us receiving the application, we must make a decision on it. And if we do not make a decision within 90 days, it is deemed denied.
So that's 90 days from when you receive it in your
Yes.
office, then it goes to P&Z, then it comes to us?
Yeah.
And that's the first and
Second,
second reading
yes.
all has to occur within 90 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. The other question I have for you is the list that's in here under prohibited use. At some point in time, did we make that list up by establishment of this ordinance eons ago, or where'd that list come from?
No, this list, one, is the majority of this list is what we have started using for TIFs, with some additions that I put in there myself that are based on uses that will not be conducive to the development itself. So what I'm trying to do by putting in the prohibited uses is both those uses that we will not get sales tax from and also won't work well with the development itself. So what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to work with the development is providing accessory uses to the hotel, the restaurant, and the condominiums with the allowed uses within the C1 zone and then the prohibited uses themselves. But the majority comes from our TIFs.
Well, I guess the one that sticks out to me that I can't understand why it's there is grocery stores. Grocery stores creates a lot of sales tax. I'm not saying promote it, I'm just, I didn't know where this list came from, so.
Grocery store is expressly written in our TIF policies simply because we have a large number of grocery stores, and from the studies that we got done this summer, we are saturated with grocery store. So until we get more people, there will not be enough space left for a grocery store on this piece of property, but we left those things that we're saying you can't do as part of a TIF, those things are all in this list as well. So that's why grocery
Next time around, 2 months from now, when somebody else comes in, somebody completely different, this list could be different, depending on what you think it should be different. I think that's a lot putting on your shoulders and should be something that the board should agree upon.
Well, if you vote yes, then you are agreeing upon it.
Should be that way. Maybe
I
I'm
understand what you're
ignorant.
saying, but that's my job. That's what I do for you all. And, if you want to take it off, the board can agree to take grocery stores off that list. You can,
I can speak a little bit to, so the part of the reason grocery stores is in there is we've included it in the last several TIFs because we had, until a couple years ago, we had Hy-Vee and we still have Deerbergs under TIF. So basically we're incentivizing those projects and we don't want to create a situation where we are encouraging, we're kicking ourselves in the shins over these projects we've already approved. And so it's in the TIF project. Now, as a practical matter for this project, like Carrie said, we're not gonna fit, you can't fit a grocery store onto that parcel. I mean, you barely can fit a convenience store on, that would be a stretch. But part of it is while it does produce a lot of sales tax, it takes a very large amount of square footage to do it, and it is an awkward fit with this project in particular. So that's why we've been prohibiting them, because it drives a different, we're looking for, in this case, kind of an entertainment, tourism-focused development, and a grocery store doesn't fit with that development.
Objective, it's just, that's the first time, I guess, that it caught my eye.
It's the first time, this is the first time that we've put anything prohibited in a rezoning
No
request.
wonder it's never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the prohibited, but the reason that we're doing this is what I've already said is, part of the deal that we're working with here is we have a piece of property that we weren't excited, I wasn't excited about making, C1B for condominiums completely. So as part of that, we worked in the opportunity to have sales tax for the next 50 years, okay? But most of what we're trying to do is both create a development that the uses that go in there on that property is also something that we're protecting the condominium owners to know what's going to be up close to them. A hotel works great with condos. A restaurant works great with condos. Grocery store would probably be fine, but we have so many on the east side right now that we're getting to the point of being saturated with them, okay? So what we're trying to do is focus on uses that work for both an accessory to the condos, the hotel, and the restaurant, and also are not something that's going to further saturate uses that we already have. Hardware or large-scale hardware stores is another one that I've put in there. And we've been putting those in TIFs because we have so many of those uses with Home Depot, Lowe's, and Menards that we're saturated with hardware. So
I understand your philosophy on it, but without going into great detail, I am very upset with myself from a decision I was involved in a number of years ago sitting in this diocese. And I was involved with and I was in favor of the decision that was made to put some limitations on a piece of property that now I'm not fond that I was involved with. So I'm very concerned when we start to do that property because it stays with the property, and so that's, I'm not questioning.
no, I understand.
I'm just trying to understand because like I said, I don't recall seeing it before and then why, because
We can't do it on typical rezonings. The only thing that we can put stipulations like prohibited uses on would be planned unit developments and entertainment overlays. And entertainment overlays prohibit on their own, so we don't typically have to further those.
And I'll also add that with this one, I mean, it can be changed again in the future. This is a change of the original one.
Yeah.
We're already changing it once. So if the board comes to regret that decision and somebody comes in with a hardware store or a grocery store that we just think we can't live without, the board can consider that rezoning application at that time and consider it. So we're not stuck with it forever, but this is something that Carrie and the developers have worked out and agreed to.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, I just want to take a second to thank Carrie and the Topsider people. This was something I didn't support. It was one of the very first things that I voted on. That Topsider property is kind of a special piece of property to a lot of people at Lake of the Ozarks. It's a historical piece. It kind of started the lake. And I really think this is a great compromise. I think everybody went to bat and went to work on this. And I love this plan, and I totally support it. And I want to thank you guys.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Osteen. He was before you, I'm sorry.
Phil's wanted to go. I'm just going to expand on something Kevin stated. Part of any development valuation, and it's a very common term, is this the highest and best use for the property? It's a very common appraisal term. So going back to what you stated and what is Carrie stating was, once again, when you're valuing a development from an appraisal standpoint, an assessment standpoint, et cetera, you're looking at, is this the highest and best use for that piece of land? Obviously, as a grocery store, is that the highest and best use of that property? No, it would not be, especially considering it'd be within 100 yards of a Deerberg's, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just trying to support what Carrie is stating is part of what he does is when there are people approaching him for future development, once again, it's a very key term in that whole development process is highest and best use. Obviously, he's given us a list of what would not be the highest and best use for that piece of property. That is why he's devised that list. That's all.
Alderman Rose.
I have a question, and it's maybe because I've overlooked it. There's just the one driveway now going to Topsider condos. And with this extension, Will there be a second driveway? Am I missing it on the plat?
Well, we didn't do any plans for this one because I didn't want to take away any flexibility, but they will have rights for ingress and egress on both sides. So when we go through the development process and start looking at the site development plans, our engineers will review what they want by way of ingress and egress along with myself. So those things haven't been decided yet. They're
Okay.
in the future. This is so the rezoning is not attached to a complete site plan like we have seen at some points. This is establishing uses that they can do, and then we will handle that in the building permit process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Because obviously it's concerning to have the additional restaurant and hotel and the one driveway.
The additional 2.28 acres definitely gives more flexibility by way of ingress and egress.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Alderman Ross.
I just want to echo what Alderman Hoffman said and thank you all for your investment in our community. I had an opportunity to visit your property on the outside. I have not been inside one of the condos where the open area is and the pools, and it's a phenomenal area. And just say thanks again. Pleasure working with you now.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Osteen. Do I have a second? Alderman Morose. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. First reading is passed. Next, we'll move on to Bill 24-58, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing an extension to the design services agreement with engineering surveys and services for Highway 42 sidewalk project. This is the first and second reading. City Engineer Andrew Bowman.
Gone. Mr. Mayor and members of the board, this project and this contract in particular is the design contract that ended up winning a TAP grant from MoDOT, and because of the specifics of the plan and the design, we are running the sidewalk through Peanic Park, and unbeknownst to us, had 4F and 6F protections on the state property, which to all of us means that there's extra hoops to jump through and extra approvals to go through. Because it has federal money and extra federal protections on the property, the design and environmental approvals took a lot longer than expected. And so this request is just to extend the time of this contract. It is a $0 change order, and it's just to extend the time in order to get through the whole design process and get this job out to bid. I do recommend approval.
All right, comments from the board or questions?
I have one.
Alderman Ross.
So somewhere along the line, and I guess maybe my memory's failing me, but I thought that the grant for the 42 sidewalk project was not awarded at some point in time. Am I just totally confused?
So to the best of my recollection of how this was presented to me, the initial design and the conceptual design ended up winning the TAP grant from MoDOT from an unfunded needs list.
Okay.
We hired ES&S to
No
design
problem.
the rest of it,
Maybe there
and
was-
we're hung up on environmental clearances.
That part I understand all of that, but
Right.
somewhere along the line, I was almost certain that the 42 sidewalk project, we applied for a grant. Maybe we applied again and got approved, so just been a long project.
This project is approved for TAP grant
Okay,
funds.
thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
Is this costing us any more money, or?
No, it's a
Okay.
$0 change order. They haven't been able to do any more work because the way that the federal project, I'm very well versed in it, but the way the federal projects, they have special stop points where you can't do any more work past a certain point. And we
I
were
see.
hung up on it's called NEPA. I can't remember what the alphabet soup means, but it's a certain approval that you can't do any more work past past getting that approval.
Just making sure you weren't sneaking $1 million sidewalk past me, that's all. Thanks.
No.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes, so I don't have any problem with this at all, but we're extending the date.
Yeah,
There's
we're,
no place in here where it says what the date is. I don't have any problem with doing this at all, and I understand everything, but in the ordinance I read, it doesn't say that we're extending the date from, September 1st to September 1st of 2025 or anything like that.
well, that might be an oversight on my part. Doing this part is kind of new. But the idea and the hope is that we can have these plans out to bid by November 1st. I don't know if that will happen because I have a good idea of what their environmental department can operate on, and I think that might be a little aggressive. So if we didn't include a date, A, it might be an oversight on my part, and B, we might not have a firm date to extend it to yet, but I'll double check that and make sure.
All right, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion approved.
Alderman Ross. Do I have a second? Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading passes. Second reading, same bill. Bill 24-58, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing an extension to the design service agreement with engineering services, surveys and services for the 42 sidewalk project. Any other comments or questions, or do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Barella. Do I have a second? Alderman Morose. Roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Hoffman?
Second time.
Alderman Morose?
I didn't think I could vote twice.
3, 4, 5, what am I missing?
Yes.
Barella.
It's so nice to see you.
I just got to vote twice for you.
Yay, thank you. I know I've got too many R's and not enough B's. I got you.
All right, second reading passes. Next, we have Bill 24-60, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with the Elks Lodge 2517 for ongoing maintenance and assistance related to the proposed Veterans Memorial Project. This is the first reading. Again, City Engineer Andrew Bowman.
I would like to preface that we got what I would consider good bids, which we can discuss next, on the Veterans Memorial Project. But to go with that, the city would like to, or I would recommend approval of this agreement that would put into place and will govern the responsibilities of both the city and the Elks Lodge after the memorial is constructed. Cole has spent a lot of time reviewing and modifying this agreement, and I think we have finally resolved all the issues related to the ongoing maintenance and support needed for this to be a successful partnership in support of the proposed Veterans Memorial Project. Both parties' obligations are listed in the attached agreement, which I will review with the board at the meeting. I shouldn't have read that part. So, I think this agenda item has been presented before with other bid postings. So I do recommend approval. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Very good. Alderman Rucker.
Couple items that I'd like to, one specifically, change. Cole, since you are the author.
And I'll preface this with, I haven't looked at this since the last time we did it, so
That's why
I have slept since then.
That's why the mistake is there then. Page 3, item 3, city obligation, item E. I suggest that the statement state that the city appoints a contact for this agreement is Assistant City Administrator and remove the name Mike Welch. Yeah.
Well, that's,
Or make it city.
I still think, I think it should be Mike Welty. I think that's a great idea.
He knows a lot about it, but
Oh, Mike.
we need to remove at least Mike's name.
With, I know another assistant city administrator who I'm sure would be a wonderful contact for this.
The other comment I have is if you would read on page 4, item 10, grants, 1, 2, 3, fourth sentence down, I believe that should be make payment, not make pay.
Yeah, it should either repay any monies or make payment, but not both. That's just a typo.
Okay.
So we can get that cleaned up as well.
Other than that, I'm just not real pleased that the Elks have not stepped up with a little more of responsibility financially. I expressed this the last time, and I guess they didn't take it to heart. I know this is something that a number of folks would like to have. I'm not opposed to having it, but I just don't feel that the city should have taken as much financial responsibility as we did. But maybe shame on me for not speaking a little bit more stronger words to begin with. But that's just my feelings on it.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Osteen.
I've got some questions regarding the legal process on how this is being presented. Bill 2460 is our agreement to maintain and assist with the Veterans Memorial, followed by 2461, which is the actual construction of it. Should this be reversed? Shouldn't we agree to build it before we agree to maintain it?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
I think certainly you can make a
I know I'm
compelling
correct in
argument,
this.
but yeah, I mean,
I
you
know
can
I'm correct in this. We shouldn't agree to maintain something and pass that before we even agreed to build it.
yeah, I think
All the splitting hairs, but it's legal process, once again.
Last time you guys wanted to have the maintenance in place before you accepted the project. So that's why I just attached that over. But it doesn't matter if the ordinance numbers, I mean.
Like I said, it's just finality, but it seems funny that we're agreeing to maintain a memorial that we've not agreed to fund or build.
Well, I guess practically if you
Don't build it.
approved the first one and then didn't approve the construction, you could just not approve the second reading.
I'm just saying, I'm just splitting hairs. These are in reverse.
respectfully, Alderman, I think you're splitting hairs.
Just saying.
Just comments or questions? Alderman Rucker.
My memory serves me correct. We voted this agreement, first approval at many meetings back. And it was received, first round of approval, it was voted yes. And then the next item on the agenda was the proposal to construct, and it was voted down.
You voted, both of them failed at the next one. You tabled and then you failed them both. Then you failed all three of them
Oh, at the next meeting we did?
at a following meeting. So you tabled it and then you failed it after that. Then you failed it at the next meeting.
You failed the agreement also?
All of them.
I remember the first one, but I don't remember us failing, so,
Yep.
okay.
I think this was the one that started that conversation about we need to not leave first readings flapping out in the wind. So we intentionally called it up and then it failed.
Then failed them.
Any other comments or questions?
I'm not finished. I'm going to agree with
Alderman Osteen.
I'm going to agree with what Kevin has stated, that I'm a little disappointed in the Elks Lodge. I feel like we've been backed into a corner regarding this memorial. Not that we're not on board with it and do not want to do something to honor our veterans, but I am just, and since day one, I've been opposed to the fact that, once again, the onus for this has been put onto the city as far as the dollars spent to construct this, as well as maintain it. And once again, we've been backed into a corner, and I feel that if anybody were to oppose it, then people would think that we're anti-veteran, and we're not. But once again, we've been put in a very bad situation where there is no easy out. So I just want to make sure I was on the dais and on record stating that. That's all.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
What is the financial contribution of the Elks Lodge, do we know?
I believe it's the monetary amount that they paid for the statue that's attached.
They're donating statues that they have previously purchased for the,
Or, I'm sorry,
memorial.
Well, right now, we're on
two
Bill
statutes.
2460. We're talking about the maintenance.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, I apologize.
That's all right. Any other comments or questions on Bill 2460, the maintenance? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross. Let's do a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen.
No.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Barella.
No.
All right, first reading passes. Next, we're going to move on to Bill 24-61, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to approve a contract with Don Schneiders Excavating Company, Inc. for the Veterans Memorial Project for an amount not to exceed $157,750. Again, Andrew Bowen.
Mr. Mayor and members of the board, this project is a carryover from 2023 and has gone through several modifications. It was previously bid out in 2023, but was rejected due to budgetary constraints, and then bid out again earlier this year, but did not pass for the same reasons. The bids were opened on the 9th of August. The city received 3 bids, and the lowest bidder was Don Schneiders Excavating with a bid of $157,750. The city has worked with the contractor multiple times with good results. Most recently, they completed the parking lot overlay, sidewalk replacement, and new access road project here at City Hall in 2023. The construction budget for this project was budgeted at $147,000. A donation of concrete in the amount of $5,000 from Scott's Concrete, and a monetary donation of $5,000 from Cochran Engineering does provide some offset for the overage. $5,000 in engineering was originally budgeted for this project, but the project was redesigned after the last bid was rejected by the board. Once the city receives the final invoice for the redesign, the budget amendment will be brought before the board to account for the construction engineering overages. I do recommend approval.
All right, Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, do we know how much, have they not donated any money to this project? Elks Lodge?
As far as I know, they're only, I'm sorry, not only. Their main contribution is attached to the agenda, but it's the 2 statues that they are donating to the city. As far as I understand, that's their main contribution to this project. Cole might know a little bit.
When we voted this down the first time, it was $50,000 over budget, I think, or something like that. We went back to the drawing board. We got it down to match what was originally budgeted for this project. I'm still disappointed Elks Lodge didn't step up to the plate a little bit more, but we are down to where our original budget plan was for this. So I'm not thrilled about the price either, but I am going to support it.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Osteen.
Yes, as a reminder, this is a moneymaker for the Elks Lodge. They are selling engraved bricks at $500 per brick as part of this development. Basically, if they sell the 1,000 bricks they're planning on, then they are basically making $500,000 to the Elks Lodge off this project. Yet we are footing the bill for it and the maintenance for it. That is one of the key things at the very get-go that we questioned them on what was their kickback to us from the sale of the bricks, which was 0.
How much are the bricks?
I think there are 1,000, wait a minute,
I thought it was 1,000.
1,000 per brick?
No?
I believe it's 100.
500?
I believe it's $100 a brick.
500?
Well, they
I
lowered the
believe-
price. Originally, it was 500 per brick.
Each brick is $100.
And how many bricks?
How many they're selling, it doesn't say.
1,000 blank pavers.
What was that, Drew?
Alderman Rucker.
The original proposal or thing that was brought, Bob, you are correct. I'm almost 100% sure. And that was quite, I think that the Elks members didn't even realize that there was going to be so much money made. And then they went back, and I realized that we've been through, unfortunately, Mr. Welty's not here to remember what occurred, and Drew is new into this, and so, we've got a lot of things we've got to piece in that occurred. But I do believe they came back and basically, somebody said, whoops, we made a mistake. There's not that many that we plan on selling. But I don't remember what that number is that they are planning on selling or what they've already sold.
Their
Thought was supposedly that they were going to use that money to help maintain the money they had to spend to maintain it. Now, there is, in your packet, under the previous bill that we discussed, under obligations, the lodge's obligations, is a list of what they're putting forth, which it is, even though I'm not a rah-rah person with this, but I do want to make sure everything's out there. There's 2 statutes that they valued at $20,000. There's a headstone that they value at $1,500. There's 6 flags and their poles that they value at $5,200. And then there's 1,000 blank pavers that they're going to provide that I guess have not been sold yet, valued at $1,400. That's what that was provided to us. So I'm the one that is opposed and upset that they didn't bring more money for it, but I do want to make sure they get credit for what they did bring.
Thank you for validating, because I knew there was $500 was the initial per brick number. Which, be it 500 pavers, 1,000 pavers, once again, that is money that they are receiving off this memorial, which they're not reimbursing the city any of that. So,
Well, let me just say this, that they are a nonprofit organization, and if you look in the packet, and I think it was actually under Bill 24-60, but it does show buy a brick program, and the cost of the brick is $100, and that money is to be used to offset the cost of the memorial. So if they do have $25,000, $30,000 of their money, the money raised from the brick is to go back to offset what they have paid on those memorials. And again, they're a nonprofit organization, so they're not sitting back there with $50,000 thinking, well, hey, let the city buy this and then we're going to make a bunch of money. They're raising money to recoup the cost that they've already invested in the program.
Yeah, so if you take the 1,000 bricks by $100 a brick, that's $100,000. And then that they're donating all the things that Alderman Rucker just presented and replacing the flags as needed in perpetuity. Sorry, that's a hard word.
Perpetuity.
Perpetuity. Thank you, City Attorney. Yeah, but you're not on the mic.
All right, any other comments or questions from the board? Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, so again, I guess we could look at this as that it's not the world's greatest business deal with the bricks and everything. But again, there was a lot of compromise and work done behind the scenes to get this scaled back and get this project on budget, which it is. And I do think this is something that's very, very good for the community. A lot of people have put time and effort into this. So again, I am going to support it.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Ross.
So if you do the math, and I don't know if they'll ever sell 1,000 of them, but there's an opportunity that they will more than recoup their funds, okay? And we will have spent $157,000. And I generally support the project, but I think it's been a challenging at the minimum since day one. The only thing that I would suggest is that if someone wants to recommend, and I'm not exactly sure how we would do that procedurally, that the Elks contribute some X dollars more towards it, then I might support that, okay? Otherwise, then we should probably just move forward.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Rucker.
Just to help clarify, bricks, their profits are not $100 a brick.
Okay.
There is a cost to the brick, and there is a cost to have it engraved, and I was told that was about $50.
Okay.
That I thought that was told. And to follow up with Alderman Ross, at the last go-around with this, I recommended to have something put into the agreement that would allow them to be able to put out more money if they wanted to down the road, and it was indicated we didn't have to do that. So, the opportunity is there for them to do that. And although I applaud what Alderman Ross is bringing up, I almost sounds like we're back there debating or beating them up. And it's just, we will move on with it.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to
Alderman
approve.
Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, let's do roll call, please.
Alderman Morose,
Yes.
Alderman Rucker,
No.
Alderman Barella,
No.
Alderman Hoffman,
Yes.
Alderman Ross,
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
No.
Mayor, you have a tie.
Yes. First reading passes. Next, we have a motion to approve the purchase of mini skid steer attachments and trailer from Ditch Witch for a price not to exceed $29,696.76. Public Works Operations Manager Zach Wilbur, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the board, I'd like permission to purchase a 66-inch bucket, a 52-inch bucket, pallet forks, an auger, a hydrant breaker, and a trailer for the Ditch Witch SK1550 that we bought earlier this year. This, because we bought the unit used, we didn't do that whole package deal where we got the brand new machinery and the attachments all together, so this just finishes up that purchase for the attachments to use the machine to its full potential. It is under budget. The total purchase price of both of them is under budget. One, we saved some money on the machine itself, and two, we're only purchasing what we think is going to be necessities at this point for the machine. And then going forward in the future, we'll see what other things arise that we may be able to use it for. The attachments and trailer will cost the city $29,696.76, and I do recommend approval. Thank you.
All right, comments or questions from the board?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Last item on our agenda is a motion to approve the renewal of our O365. Is that right? Is it O?
Office 365, sir.
What is it?
Office 365.
I still didn't catch that word.
Office.
Office 365.
Office 365. Oh, it's computer stuff. That's why I didn't get it. Office 365. Licensed through /Technologies for an amount not to exceed $29,231.78. IT Manager Michael Bean, please.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. This is our annual renewal for our licensing through, sorry, I should have spelled it out, Office 365. This was a budgeted item. We are going through our certified reseller through Microsoft. We did go into it budgeting $35,000, coming back at $29,231.78. I recommend approval.
All right, comments or questions for Michael? Alderman Ross.
How many licenses is it, Michael?
128.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Hoffman.
I will just say that anyone that's confused by technology or computer stuff, Office 365 is a vital part of business, and I support this.
Yes, to elaborate, it's all of your emails and PowerPoint and Exchange. It's pretty much the nuts and bolts on how we do business day to day.
That's what I thought.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Alderman Barella. Do I have a second? Second. Alderman Morose. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Next, we're going to move on to department staff. We're going to start out with our city administrator, Devin Lake, please.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I don't really have much to report. I've sent out the budget workshop invites and the elected officials training, and so that's all been set up. We'll be working on budget very heavily over the next few weeks and look forward to doing that with you guys for the first time. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. Assistant City Administrator April White, please.
Hello, Mayor and members of the board. The citywide rummage sale is next Saturday, September 14th at the City Park. And utility billing clerk Keegan Powers and I worked with our existing billing software, Tyler Technologies, to implement text-to-pay. So next week, that will be pushed out. It's available now, but basically utility customers who call into the interactive voice response, the IVR system, to pay over the phone, they can opt in now for text-to-pay. So it's just a really simple and user-friendly payment option for our utility customers. And lastly, just want to extend my deepest sympathies to the Carson family and our Osage Beach police and dispatch family. The funeral service today was absolutely beautiful, and I don't know how anyone could leave there not wanting to be a better human. So continue to keep the Carson family and our police department and dispatch 911 family in thoughts and prayers, and as they struggle through the grieving process in the days ahead and try to find a new normal.
Thank you. City Clerk Tara Barrett.
I don't have anything, so thank you. I echo April. I'm not going to not cry. I did enough today. Thank you.
All right, City Attorney Cole Bradbury.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I don't have any updates. Just to echo what April said, obviously thinking about the Carson family, young kids, having their mom not come home is tough. Also, please keep in mind all our officers who got a very sudden and ugly reminder of their mortality this week, and reminded that just how quickly a normal shift can turn into tragedy. So if you see any of our officers, tell them thank you, and yeah, we appreciate them all.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Building Inspector Ron White.
Thank you, Mayor. My title is building official, but I'll take inspector as well.
Sorry.
It's been a long week, sir. I understand. I want to extend my condolences as well, and also my appreciation and admiration for the police department, for the team that came in and helped out. What happened this week, though exhausting, and I'm not as deep into it as they are, was absolutely moving beyond words. But really appreciate those men and women in blue. More than words can say. The only update I have is on the files, everything that we're archiving digitally. We've got through 2010, so now we're just moving. It looks like we're going to be completing a year in between board meetings. That was another 225 files. And something I wasn't asked, but I'll just give you my experience with the flags. We do the 3x5 flags out here. I think they're 3x5. The blue line and the American flag. We spend with shipping about $70 a flag. And you're going to have, I'm not sure what they're having, the 6 military and the U.S. flag. I'm assuming 7 flags for the memorial, which would be about $980 a year because we replace ours twice. So you're looking at $1,000 a year that the Elks Lodge will be spending to replace those flags. That's all I have.
Very good. IT Manager Michael Bell.
I also want to send my condolences to the Carson family, all of the communication staff, and the police department as well. I also want to congratulate April on her new position. Couldn't ask for anybody better to take Mike's position. Finally, I want to introduce you guys to Travis Jenkins. He's not here tonight, but he is my newest IT specialist. He's been here about 5 months. He's doing amazing work. I'm not going to focus on the work tonight with everything else. I'm just going to recognize him personally. He's married to a wonderful woman named Amarita for 20 years. He has 2 children, Ethan, age 16, Kirsten, age 12. Both go to school at the Osage and heavy into soccer. Travis is a retired Air Force vet, 2 Alpha 373, which is aircraft maintenance. Amarita is also retired military recently as an E8, so she wears the pants in the house there, as a senior master sergeant, and she was a supply troop. So I just want to formally welcome Travis to the team and coming up on his 6 months. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Human Resource, Maddie Mauso.
Hello, Mayor and members of the board. Also want to extend my sympathy to the Carson family. As someone who comes from a law enforcement family myself, it's a hard thing to see. I just want to remind everyone out there to drive safely and drive lawfully, and respect those that work to keep us safe and their authority on the matter. In lighter news, I took Devin on a trip last week through 13 different interviews for 4 different positions. One of those that we hired was April for Assistant City Administrator, and congratulations to her. We also filled my Human Resources Coordinator position. The position I previously held is now held by Abby Barrett, who was our AP Payroll Clerk, and she's gonna rock it. She's amazing. We did send out an offer letter for a Public Information Officer today, and we do have a GIS technician for engineering starting on the 23rd this month. So lots of HR things going on. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Public Works, Zach Wilbur.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. Congratulations, April. Yeah. Everybody's really excited about it, and it's going to be great. Yeah. So, really excited. I would have thought things would start slowing down by now. It seems like, I don't know, the fun's lasting a little longer at the lake this year, but everything's still going pretty good down at Public Works. We're down 3 in the sewer department. 1 quit, and then another one quit for family reasons. But we've got, I don't know, applications aren't coming in like we hope. We do have an interview scheduled, so we'll see how that goes. But I think as Alderman Osteen alluded to, it is roller coaster at some times. Yeah, thank you.
City Engineer Drew Bowman.
Mayor, members of the board. I did want to take a minute and wear a different hat. Eric wasn't able to be here this evening. He did want to tell everyone that the dog park construction, hopefully weather cooperating, starts on Tuesday. And they hope they've gotten a ton of cooperation with Lowe's, so hats off to them. They've contributed, I think, more than originally anticipated, and Eric will be able to do more of the big wish list that he wants immediately, and he's been getting lots of coordination and help with labor from not just the local store, but also the Lebanon store and the Jeff City store. So he would just, he just wanted to update everyone that is starting on Tuesday. And then going back to engineering for a moment, as Maddie said, we have a GIS technician starting on the 23rd, and I know that Devin and I are both very excited to have him start and take off, hopefully running, and have the GIS kind of be his pet project for the future, and get something that we can all use and have a really functional, robust tool. Then we have the City Park slope stabilization bid opening tomorrow. We also have, the Summit Circle bid opening on the 17th. The Safer Streets for All grant was completely executed and accepted by Federal Highway Administration, and we are waiting on them to give us some next steps. One of those being, I'm going to training on Tuesday and Wednesday next week in Jeff City to see what the ins and outs of the safety audit, which is the grant that we received, process looks like, and get as much information as I can. But besides condolences for the Carson family, I have nothing else.
All right. Thank you. City Planner Kerry Patterson.
Yes, Mayor. One of the first things that I told you when you got in here was that we're a family, and the loss of Felicia is a real blow to our family. And the thing that I would encourage us, with her loss, is to remember that her husband and her kids were part of that family too, and that we don't forget them. Be there to support them. her kids are, you know, a couple of them are basically the same age as my children. So it hits home very hard. So let's not forget those kids. I know I won't. No planning commission meeting this month. And I think I had something else to say, but I don't remember what it was. So
Did you say no planning commission?
No planning commission meeting this month. So business as usual. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Almost said, you were so far down there, I got confused for a second. Alderman Rucker, please.
Yes, I have a couple, 3 or 4, half a dozen items. First of all, congratulations, April. Congratulations to Abby. And this may sound a little strange, but congratulations to Carrie Bell. Unfortunately, Carrie's not here to hear that, but I want you all to think about it for a second. Carrie Bell has been with this city for a number of years. She has a work ethic. She is solid. She has provided the city with eons of years of accreditation, our accolades from her book work and with the assistance from the office. And you know, there's something else that she's done with instilling in good work ethics, because we may not all know it, but guess what? Abby came from her department. April came from her department. Michael Wealthy came from her department. Gina Woods came from her department. Now that's just 4 that I know of. That says something about Miss Carrie Bell. And I just wish she was here. Hopefully she's online listening. But that needs to be said about her. For those of you that are going to MML, I just sent an email out for the meeting in reference to the invite that all of us have through Alliance for that Monday night. And so I need to know as soon as possible to let them know how many of us are going to be going. The mayor and Kim are going. Darla and I are going for sure. It's right there at the Conference Center Hotel. It's at the Steakhouse. So it's dinner on Monday night at 5:30. So if you'll let me know, I'd like to let Josh know from Alliance. I just got an email from him at 3:30 this afternoon on that. / Tell them to make the test a little bit easier, please. This one was a tough one. I failed it twice before I passed it. I had to actually, finally, I just had to go in and say, that's it. I had to refocus and rethink it and take a little better notes. So it was a tough test, but I passed it fine. We talked at the couple meetings ago in reference to the report that was given to us on Public Works. And I just want to make sure, I know Alderman Ross had mentioned something about that maybe we need to look at our job descriptions on our sewer techs as it relates to a lot of need for electrical needs. And I just want to say, I want Zach, Maddie, if you would make sure that you do that, especially so, because that's going to be a question I'm going to have at budget time. So I just want to give you guys some thoughts ahead of time that you know, they indicated that those those salaries need to be increased for those reasons. And so anyway, just with what happened with sewer people just recently just made me rethink of that. I would also like to tell everybody going to MML, we need to take opportunity and maybe even convince the mayor to have a few minutes on the floor at the MML to thank all the cities in this state. Because you realize how many cities were there, have been there to help this city out in the last couple of days? I mean, I was involved years ago with something similar to this, with the fire chiefs got together and said, when we have a loss, we need to provide support. And the police have done that, obviously, and I took time to look at patches all across the state. And that took a lot of load off of our police people here that they could be involved in. So we need to thank those folks, and we need to think about the fact that when our police department people want to be involved and help out in that we support that as well. And we pay that overtime for somebody to ride their street because Officer so-and-so is up in some corner of the state providing this kind of service, because there was lots and lots and lots of support for that. And that we need to think about that and remember that. Last is, I don't know what we can do, but the lodging tax. According to Facebook, and I know everything you read on Facebook isn't true, but according to what I read on Facebook, the Supreme Court has ruled that it's out. They're trying to look at what. I totally support a lodging tax in this community, in this county. I don't want to see the city of Osage Beach do it. I don't think that's right. I think it's a county-wide or a regional-wide situation. I think what was set up was great, but it worked for years, and it's going to be a big, big shot in the nose to us when all of a sudden next year some of these situations that go on, like Fest, they get some money. Some of these bass tournaments, they get some money, you know, and they bring in money. So I don't know what we can do. I don't know. I know, Mayor, you've been a little more closely involved with that through your affiliation with.
Was with CVB, but yes.
Okay, I was. Okay,
Yes,
was.
yes.
I would like to see if there's some way or another we can reach out to see if there is going to be something moving forward, if we can be a part of that, if the rest of the board supports that, then we can do what we can do to be a part of that, getting that issue back onto a ballot, getting it, whatever needs to be done, because I think that pooling of our money and the way that was done has just been great for this community, and it's been great. It's unfortunate we had some people that wanted to shoot it down, but it is what it is, and so, you know, that's behind us now. But moving forward, I would like to do or see what we can do, you know, to help that along. And I don't know where to go and what to do, or if the rest of the board is in support of that, but I would like to see the city step up and try to help countywide to do that. And I would leave that in your hands, and you can see if there's a rest, and if so, great, we can do something. And anyway, I think we should. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Barilla.
Well, I just wanted to say that it was a beautiful tribute today, and wow, like what a great community that we live in, that show of support to them and their family, and just ask that we continue that support and prayers for them. You know, we go about our days and go back to our normal. Their family is trying to navigate just a total new normal, and so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I also wanted to mention that we do have a event next Wednesday at Regalia Wingfest. It's a pretty good community event. There'll be some public announcements tomorrow in the paper, but we do plan to give portions of those proceeds to their family as well. But I do encourage everybody to come and attend and support it.
All right, thank you. Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, real quick, Maddie, did you say the public information officer position is relisted?
An offer has been sent out on it.
An offer's been sent out on it. Okay, thanks. And just, I kind of want to reiterate what Alderman Rucker just said. We did talk about this earlier. Kind of think that the thought was, let's wait and see what the community and the county does towards the lodging to try and fill that void. And if no progress is getting made, we need to look into it ourselves and spearhead it. But I completely agree with you. It's a considerable loss for our community, not just Osage Beach, but the whole lake. And I don't want to see it get brushed under the rug. So I too was at the memorial today. I have a lot of family members that are military. I have a lot of family members that are police officers and federal agents. That unfortunately is not the first one of those I've been to. But this one was the most moving one I've ever been to, other than possibly the loss of a shipmate. The turnout was incredible. there's no way to keep a dry eye in there today. And just seeing her daughter up there and being strong enough to talk in front of all those people was a powerful moment for me. And I want to thank the community. The ride home, Alderman Osteen and I drove back, and there were cars everywhere. They were on all the bridges. You could see on Facebook. Everyone I knew in Osage Beach was out there somewhere today. So I want to thank the community for really stepping up and supporting the family. So just to end it on a light note, Kevin, I'm in for the steak dinner, and the Chiefs do start their march to a three-peat tonight. So go Chiefs.
Very good. Alderman Osteen.
I've got a few things this evening. Today was a very emotional day. I wanted to share a personal story about Officer Carson. It was her second day on patrol with the city of Osage Beach. She was riding with Officer Joel Shelton when they pulled me over. She came up to my car, and I knew why I was pulled over. I had expired plates. So not only did I have my driver's license ready and my proof of insurance, but I also had a copy of the vehicle inspection report I had done that afternoon, as well as a copy of my personal property paid receipt. Seconds later, Officer Shelton comes to the car, and the look of shock on his face when he realizes that it's me and they have pulled over an alderman is priceless. So, just following standard routine, they take information, they go back to the patrol car. A couple of minutes go by, and then it's 5 minutes, and then it's 10 minutes.
Arrest him.
And I'll be the first to admit, my driver's record's pretty clean, although I've got a pretty lead foot. But of course, I'm thinking, what's out there on me? It's been 10 minutes. So I'm starting to freak out. They come back, massive apologies, but because Officer Shelton had all my information, he wanted to use that as a test case to show her different things they could do in the system while they're in their vehicle. So the reason I'm sharing this is because in some tiny, minuscule way, I'd like to think I had a little part in the training she received to make her the officer that she was. So I will hold that dear to my heart. And it's a funny story. Every time I saw her after that, she would say, "Do you know when your plates expire?" So God bless her and rest in peace. April White, welcome to the island of misfit toys. That is what comprises this dais. I'm not sure which toy you are yet. I know Kevin is the Charlie in the box, if you know what I'm talking about. Hoffman is the squirt gun that only shoots jelly. In my head, everyone has a misfit toy name, and now you're part of us. So welcome aboard.
Wow. And
I like to pick on Zach. That new ear jewelry you're sporting tonight is on fire. Eye-catching. Anyway, my last remark is, go Bills.
Wow. Alderman Morose.
Well, to echo that everyone's been commenting about, it was a very inspiring and moving day, and a day that I certainly have to look again to think I'm so proud to be a part of this community and the outreach support, not just from Osage Beach, from all over. And the amount of people that showed up, I was just flabbergasted. It was fabulous, just to show how much love and support that our community is acting like a family, and I like that. Congratulations, April. We're happy to have you. It's nice to have another lady on the dais. But other than that, I know you all will have a good time at MML. I hope you will learn something at MML. And I know you'll miss me. I know you will. I'm sorry to miss it, but anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Ross.
To start with, of course, the condolences to the Carson family. I do want to say that thank you to probably everyone on the staff, not only that's here, but many that aren't. Last Friday, many people went home and never expected what the next few days were going to be like. And it was obvious over time, you know, Carrie talked about family, how much of a family this is. And it's a family that I'm proud and privileged to be a part of. So thank you all for everything that everyone has done throughout all of this, because it was a lot. Congratulations to April. Congratulations to Abby. Good, you know, glad to have them moving up through the organization. From a personal recognition standpoint, I want to recognize two people. One is Carrie Patterson for the work on Topsider. It has been a unique path, and I think that you have guided it well. You've done an excellent job. Thank you. And then also to piggyback on Kevin, Carrie Bell, I think I said this earlier to someone this week, that she's a great people developer, and she's, you know, she's unmatched at this point. And you know, we can't appreciate her enough, I don't believe. To piggyback onto Celeste, the Wing Fest is next Wednesday. If you didn't quite hear, she's not, I don't know if she wasn't close to the microphone, I could barely hear her, but the Rotary's portion of the proceeds will go, it'll be announced in a press release tomorrow, to the Carson family. It is a great community event. There's been plenty of community outpouring. And if you haven't been to that event, I think it's one of the neatest community events we have. And there's even more reason to go now. It'll be from 5 to 7. And if you like wings, you'll get some great wings there. And by the way, I just want to say thank you to Celeste, because a lot of people don't realize if it wasn't for Celeste, there would not be a Wing Fest. Okay? A lot of people think that several people would get involved, but it wouldn't happen without her. Kevin, on TCLA, and Cole, if you don't know, I was told that there was going to be a fine, for lack of a better term, some type of motion or ruling from the Supreme Court, and I looked it up and could not find it.
It was yesterday, or
Oh, did
it was
they?
yesterday, and it is final. It is done.
It is done. Okay, I tried to look it up and did not see that. Okay.
It is.
And then
Very recent. Very
okay.
recent. Last
And then
24 hours.
Two other things. Phyllis, have a great time on your trip. Hope you have wonderful weather. And we will miss you. And lastly, go Chiefs. Y'all have a great night.
All right, I just have a few things. Congratulations to Abby and to April. I was not part of Abby's interview process, but I was with April, and she was hands down the finest and most qualified candidate. So welcome aboard. We look forward to what you have to bring. So, and I want to congratulate HR and Devin. You realize you've been here 2 weeks. We've had interviews, people hired, applications out. I mean, we've had job applications out, people interviewed, people hired, just boom, 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 boom. So congratulations. That was very impressive. We're not waiting for months on end to get positions filled, so appreciate that. Also, just to remind you, Air Show is this weekend. It's not Osage Beach, but it's a big thing around this community in Camdenton, and then also Bike Fest next week. So a lot of motorcycles around. Be careful out driving around. I also wanted to thank Camden County Sheriff's Department for stepping up and helping us with patrol during this difficult time. They've been able to offer some release for our officers and make our city still safe, so we appreciate that. Last thing I want to do is I wanted to thank everybody that made the memorial possible and everything for Officer Carson possible. A lot of stuff went on behind the scenes. Jan getting stuff together, sending out emails. Alexi getting things together, and along with her husband. All that is behind the scenes, and none of us see that. So for all of those, I know I don't know everybody that made it happen, but what a show of support for the community. And before we go into an executive session, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat what I said last night during the candlelight vigil. And Chief and I kind of, in times of sorrow, you know, you got to have a little smirk once in a while, but we both kind of laughed at each other that when we printed off what we were going to say, we had to do it in big font because we didn't want to talk with our glasses on. So, but this is what I said. I kind of paraphrased a little bit, but it's not very long because it is big font. But I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out tonight. The show of support that all of those contributed to this beautiful memorial for Officer Felicia Carson. that all of us here at the City Hall were somewhat in a daze. All week, we've been kind of just in a daze. And Carrie and I were talking in my office about that. And it was weird because, no, we're not personally related to them. We see him here, but he was so right. We're family. And we lost a family member. And it's just been gut-wrenching. Yesterday, I Googled why hold a candlelight vigil, and I told the people last night, the answer that I saw was 3 different answers. One was to commemorate a person's life, one was to show solidarity with a cause, and the last definition was, or to raise awareness about an issue. And then when I thought about that, I thought Officer Felicia Carson's case, all 3 of those vigil definitions fit her. Because we were all there last night, and showing respect for Felicia's life, to support her family, and to the loved ones that she left behind. We were also, second definition, we were all individuals, but we were coming together in solidarity. We all had heavy hearts, and because of the loss of her life. And the third definition fit because we wanted to raise awareness of the potential devastating consequences that can occur by eluding a police officer. Just don't do it. I ask that everybody keep Felicia's husband Grant and their 6 children in their prayers, and I encourage everybody to hug your children, your parents, your spouse, and let them know that you love them often, because you don't know if there's going to be another tomorrow for any of us. And lastly, if anybody's still listening, I still ask, there's plenty of different sites to go to, but if you have any questions, go to the Osage Beach Police Department Facebook page, click on the link, and do what you can to help this family. They're going to need it. So I just thank everybody, and God bless you all. So with that, we are going to look to go into executive session. A notice is given that the agenda includes a roll call vote to close the meeting as allowed by RESMO Section 610.021, 1, legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body, and any confidential or privileged communications between a governmental body or its representatives and its attorneys. And secondly, notice is given that the agenda also includes a roll call vote to close the meeting as allowed by RESMO Section 610.021, leasing, purchase, and sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of a transaction may adversely affect the legal consideration therefore. So do I have a motion to move into executive session? Motion. Alderman Ross. Do I have a second? Second. Alderman Rucker. Do we have to roll call vote this? Yep. Roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Varela?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
All right. We're adjourned to go into executive session.
Bio.
In 5 minutes. How's that?
All right.